Hey everybody, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel's Champion Hero Pack. This is for Deadpool, one of the latest characters in the X-Force group of characters. So, if you've ever seen any of my other Marvel videos with Deadpool stuff in there, I've kind of said this before. Well, it bears repeating, especially if you haven't seen it before. I love Deadpool. He's a pretty awesome character. I mean, most people do. He's usually a fan favorite. I love the goofiness, the fourth wall breaking, that kind of stuff is cool. In the comic books, when it comes to the games, they always tend to give him like weird, odd mechanics that you're trying to like the fourth wall breaking and him being a jokey character kind of thing. And not that he's never playable in the games, but they give him such weird mechanics that he feels almost out of place. Again, like a joke character. Where yes, you can play him right alongside Cable and Domino in any of these sets for this game, but what they lots of times do in these games is they give him special mechanics or special effects that other characters in the game don't have. They're not going to utilize. Which just makes you have to do extra steps to play as him. Just a quick side note, one big notable example would be like Marvel Legendary. So when his box came out and he had his characters, they gave a bunch of stuff with half damage. So obviously now you have all this extra thing you have to do half damage. It's kind of a fun little gimmicky mechanic. Overall the game still plays the same, but it adds that little extra weird bonus to it. And they do that with a lot of his cards. So if they can find a balance between having him being jokey and doing something different, but not feel like he's a complete he's a gimmicky character just to play as, it's definitely great. So I haven't looked at any of his cards in this set, so I don't know how he's gonna play. The only thing I do know that is different is he gets a different aspect. So normally you have aggression, justice, defense, and leadership. He has his own specific aspect called pool. But now I don't think that necessarily is going to make the game bad. Or make him a gimmicky character. We'll have to see what the cards actually say. One reason why I don't think it's going to be too terrible is because they designed it so that any character can use the pool cards. So the fact that they made it like a fifth aspect that anyone can use, and that means it's not directly just referencing his stuff, that's going to help. So let's first of all, we have his poster, which we have for everybody. But being Deadpool, he has to spot the difference on the other side. And I'm not going to get into that too much. Then he has his list, or his instruction here. So I'm going to kind of go over this. I don't usually go over these too much in detail, but he has, again, some funny gimmicky stuff on here, which are kind of fun. So Deadpool presents, a Deadpool in production, Deadpool's lackeys, all that stuff's kind of fun. And they kind of edit some of his stuff. And this is a little bit bigger expansion, so if you do notice the price point is higher, it's because it comes with more cards. Because it comes with extra cards to fill up his Deadpool aspect card. So yeah, we have some new keywords. I'm going to drop this down. I always like going over the new stuff in case you haven't seen it. We have piercing, attached with piercing, discarding stuff, tough status cards from the target before dealing damage. Team up says names two characters. To include a character with the team up in your deck, your chosen identity must match one. So his will be Deadpool and somebody else. Most likely Cable. Yep, it's Cable. I just saw it. Additionally, a card cannot be played unless both named characters and identity are ally. So what that means for the Deadpool Cable one is you're playing as Deadpool if you play the Cable ally, or another player plays a Cable ally, or they have the Cable identity, then you can use the card. And that's the thing where he kind of brings out about all his different stuff. So let's flip over sheet to learn about the pool aspect. So we're going to kind of look at this a little bit more in depth. Deadpool is such an awesome part of the Marvel Universe. He literally demands an aspect inspired by his greatness, thus the pool aspect restoring. Pool aspect, like any other aspect, just like progressing justice, leadership, and protection. I keep calling it defense. It's protection. Pool aspect represents a countless variation of Deadpool across the multiverse. Deadpool takes so many different forms that there exists a universe out there which Deadpool can be crossed with any hero you can imagine. So the pool aspect can be used by any hero. The pool aspect counts as aspect for all purposes. You can customize your deck using any aspect, all that stuff. So bringing Deadpools from across the universe into battle is a killer proposition. When setting up the game with at least one player using the pool aspect, shuffle one copy of the Crisis of Infinite Deadpool's treachery card into the encounter deck. Set the rest to the Dreadpool module encounter aside. So it's kind of neat. So if you do play with it, it's actually going to potentially bring in a special encounter. Deadpool has edited some of the cards from Marvel Champions core set with tape marks to mark them worthy of him. You incorporate them into the pool aspect. These cards should be played using the improved and included Deadpool edits. Fine, you can use Deadpool edits, but you must abide by the text in the editor's boxes like this one. So in case they have something that's like messed up in there. We have a new card type called player side schemes. So these are brought through the X-Force set. The quick gist of them is their side schemes are in a player's deck. You play them, they function like a side scheme for all other intents and purposes, triggering effects from side schemes. Interact with them in the normal way. When you defeat them, they go to your victory display. You gain a bonus, so whoever defeats it gains whatever the bonus is on the card. So it's just a way for your players to like, basically they're like, the idea is that X-Force is being proactive and they are tackling other threats that maybe aren't just the main one. Like, hey, we need to beat Strife. But on the side fact, we need to come over here and defeat this guy too, or we need to disarm these bombs or do something else. So it's kind of interesting. Per player cost, this benefit includes cards with per player cost indicated by the little icon. So anytime it says like 3 with a player, it's 3 per player. Amplification icon. The icon increases the number of boost icons on cards. When the boost icon is turned face up, add 1 additional boost icon for each amplified icon in play. And then 3 other feature keywords are alliance. When a player declares their intention to play a card with an alliance, any player may help pay for the cost. Range ignores retaliate keyword, and victory X. When a card of the victory X keyword is defeated, place it in the display instead of its owner's discard pile. Awesome. Okay, now I kind of got over that. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into what Deadpool's main deck does. And then we'll see all this goofiness he has, and we'll see how much it really affects the game versus it's just kind of like jokey out on there. So that's what, like, again, I don't mind the jokiness of Deadpool, but I love the original version where, yeah, he joked around, he goofed, he made cracked wise while he was fighting people, but he's also a deadly assassin. And even the current comics show that he's very efficient at what he does. Sometimes he's just insane in the way he does it. So here he added zeros to the end of this card, and so if has these like blocks, just ignore them. So he has 2 support, 2 attack, 1 defense. He has Deadpool Core and X-Force. The Regenerating Degenerate. Force Interrupt. When you would be defeated, instead set your hit point dial to 1. Change to the alter ego form and add 1 acceleration token to the main scheme. So this is going to be a big gimmick, or like, I keep calling it gimmick. This is going to be a big thing that Deadpool is going to do. Is he's going to have a lot of stuff, I believe, that's going to be a little bit more overpowered. Like this, basically going to not die. But they're going to make the villain deck harder to deal with. By adding like acceleration tokens or boost tokens, amplification, drawing extra cards, things like that. So it's going to be a tricky card to play. Yes, you're going to be able to do more damage or take more damage or do extra things, but you're also going to be speeding up the villain's deck. So hand size is 5, hit points are 9. If we flip him over, we have Wade Wilson, who has a recovery of 8, which I think is officially the new highest number. Um, says, well, hello, handsome. Is he talking to you or the burger he's holding, or the taco? Um, so mercenary and mutant. Sometimes I'm a mutant, sometimes I'm not. Depends on who you ask. Break the fourth wall. Action. Discard a card from your hand, search your deck for a Deadpool event, and add it to your hand. That's actually not a bad ability, right? Find exactly what you need. Alright, so our signature ally is Cable. Nathan Summers. 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attacks, psionic, and exports with 3 health. Cable gets +1 thwart and 1 attack for each acceleration token on the main Steam to a maximum of +3 and +3. Wade, you are my best bud. He covered up whatever he said. That's actually pretty cool. So, like, if Deadpool is constantly accelerating everything with some of his cards, Cable just gets stronger. So now imagine, again, like, if he's doing 5 attack and he can do that 3 times before he's defeated, that can be very powerful. Alright, we have Exhausting Personality. 0-cost effect. Choose. Place 1 acceleration token on the main Steam to stun and confuse the villain. Or exhaust a player's identity. That player draws 1 card for each acceleration token on the main Steam. Cool. So basically you can use the first one to at least put 1 on there if you don't use one of his other abilities. And you can use the other one to help draw cards. 2 copies of Maximum Effort. 0-cost event. Attack. Hero action attack. Take any amount of damage up to your remaining hit points. Deal equal amount of damage to an enemy. This is gonna hurt me as much as it hurts you. That's awesome. Basically, he can just lethally kill himself to do a ton of damage. So he normally only has, 6 health? Well, he has 9 in that form. Yeah, he has 9 health. So yeah, the only essentially, if you full health, just take 9 damage, and then go 9 back. That could take out some bosses. Mega Knowledge. 1-cost event. Hero Interrupt. When an encounter card is revealed, cancel all its effects and discard it. Take 1 damage for each boost and amplify in that boost area. It says here I defeat you with a wedgie. He's fighting a knight. That's kind of cool, yeah. So anytime you can cancel effects on a card and not have to redraw another one, that's super powerful. 2 copies of Yoo-hoo! 1-cost event, Thwart. Hero action, Thwart. Take any amount of damage up to your remaining hit points. Remove equal number of threat from the scheme. You boys mind me dropping in. Cool, so instead of attack, he has a Thwart version. And again, every time he dies, he just regenerates. But you have to put an acceleration token on the thing. He has Montage as a resource. This card generates 1 additional resource for each acceleration token on the main Steam up to a maximum of 3. That's very cool. To be able to do 4, potentially up to 4. At least it sounds like you're never going to really purposely want to put more than 3 additional acceleration tokens out. Chimichanga Truck. Support. 2-cost support to location. Response. After an identity makes a basic recovery, exhaust Chimichanga Truck. Reveal or ready that identity. Cool, because you can basically heal ready your character, then you could probably flip them back over. Did someone say Chimichanga? Never mind. That was just the sound of my skull and brains healing. Oh, that's funny. He has a lot of single cards in here. Armed to the Teeth, 2-cost upgrade. Response. After you play Armed to the Teeth, search your collection for 1 weapon upgrade from any aspect and attach it face down. Exhaust Armed to the Teeth. Swap a card attached with a weapon upgrade you control. Swap the card attached here with a weapon upgrade you control. Oh, okay. So he finds 1, and then now you can swap it with a different weapon. So you can only have 1 weapon out at a time with this ability, but you can swap them around. I personally say I would recommend, especially if you're playing with other people. You're playing solo, do whatever you want because you have as much time as you want. But I would say if you're gonna have Deadpool with this thing, is grab like maybe four or five weapon cards out that you might want to pick and have them just sitting aside ready to go. Yes, it might not be every card available in your collection. There might be some that might be better in a situation, but it's not fair to your other players for you to dig through every single card in your entire collection looking for that specific one card. So we have 2 copies of Deadpool's Katanas. 2 cost upgrade, weapon and restricted. Hero action attack. Exhaust Deadpool's Katanas and take 1 damage. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. This attack gains piercing. Nice. Extra damage. Not a big deal for Deadpool. 1 copy of It Ain't Over. 1 cost upgrade condition. Attach to the main steam. Increase the target threat value of the attack steam by 2 for each acceleration token on it. I've got you right where I want you. Increase the target threat value of attack steam by 2. So I wonder, why would you want to increase the threat value? Because that makes it harder, I believe. Unless I'm misunderstanding how that card works. Because why would you want to keep it out longer? Is what I don't get. The only reason is because you have the acceleration tokens on it. That might be the only reason. Because the longer you can keep it out there without beating it, with more acceleration, you get more options. As soon as you beat it, you have to go to the next steam. Interesting. Then we have 2 copies of this card as fire. Literally looks like it's on fire. 3 cost event, attack, force response. After your turn ends, if this card is in your hand, take 1 damage. Hero action, deal X damage to an enemy. X is the amount of damage you have sustained. Okay, cool. So hang on to this card until you're ready to deal a ton of damage. Very, very interesting. So before we look at the aspect deck, we're going to look at his 1 basic card. He has Frenemies, which is his team up with Cable. So 1 cost event, which is thwart, max 1 per deck. I was just trying to see if we have another copy of that card. And we don't. Okay, so this is interesting because typically whenever you get a team up card, you get 2 copies. So you get 1 for each player's deck. This one we're only getting 1 version of that card. Yeah, that's crazy, right? So we don't get a second version, unless Cable had 1 in his deck, which I don't think he did, but maybe I'm wrong. Alright, so deal 1 damage to each Cable and Deadpool, remove 3 threat from a steam and 3 threat from a different steam. This will help you complete side steams, very quickly, which are your basic side steams. Alright, so we're going to hop in and look at our aspect deck. Alright, so our first one up is, and these are pink, it's kind of funny, just kind of keep them different colors. So we have Dogpool, who is known as Wilson. 3 cost ally, 0 thwart, 1 attack. Part of the Deadpool core. Retaliate 1 in toughness. When defeated, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So you're going to know it has a boost icon on, or acceleration icon on there. So that's going to be the downside of these pool cards, is they're going to have lots of bad stuff happening when you play them. But again, I said, this is kind of what Deadpool is. He's chaos. So it's going to make the game a little bit harder, but he also has a lot of powerful stuff. Even an ally that right there has 4 health, retaliate, and toughness, and if he's defeated, he still does damage. We have Headpool, Wade Shorty Wilson, the zombie version of him. 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, Deadpool core, and zombie. Ooh, I don't think we've seen the zombie trait before. I hope we get a Marvel zombie set. That'd be fun. Response. After Deadpool attacks and damages a minion, that minion attacks another enemy of your choice. We have Kidpool, Wade, Tito Wilson, 3 cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack. Kidpool's attacks gain piercing. Congratulations on having me in your deck. Yeah, having the piercing's not bad, just for tough status cards. And then we have Lady Deadpool, Wanda Wilson, 4 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack with 3 health. When defeated, defeat a non-elite minion. Awesome. So then we have 3 copies of Barely a Scratch. Monty Python reference. 0 cost event defense. Hero interrupt for defense. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent 1 of that damage for each crisis, acceleration, threat, or draw in play. Nice. So you can gain a lot of prevention if you have a bunch of different cards out. We have 1 copy of Cut Upper instead of Uppercut. 3 cost event attack. Hero action attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy, stun that enemy. Squeak. Max 1 per deck. Not bad. That's why we only have 1 copy though. The Bomb from his Carter. 6 cost event, max 1 per deck. Hero action, deal 10 damage to the villain, deal 1 damage to each enemy and hero in play for each different icon. Oh boy. So, that's a lot of damage. 10 damage is definitely a lot. Plus, 1 additional damage to every enemy is great. But the heroes you have to watch out for, because you might KO some of your teammates. We have 1 copy of Get Ragey instead of Get Ready. 0 cost event. Action ready an ally. That ally gets +1 attack to the end of the phase. You call that up, pull up, Sergeant Deadpool. Hydra Bob. That's fun, extra attack for your character. We have 3 copies of I Got This. 1 cost event. Hero action. The following icons are on more than 1 card in play. So if we have Crisis, deal 3 damage to an enemy. Accelerate, move 2 threats from a steam. Amplify. Ready 1 ally you control, or extra encounter, draw 1 card. Cool. And again, if you can get all 4 of these out with your different allies, you can actually trigger a lot of effects. That's cool. Kind of interesting. Not my responsibility. 0 cost event. Interrupt. Just interrupt. Any amount of threat would be placed on a steam, you or your allies take that much damage instead. This is kind of neat. A couple of his allies have, if they're defeated, they do stuff. The Deadpool core. So this kind of works great with that. You can just send the damage to them. We have Pool Inspection. 6 cost event. He has some very high cost cards. Lots of 0s, but lots of high cost 6s. Thwart, max 1 per deck. Remove 5 threat from the main steam, ignoring the crisis icon. Remove 1 threat from each steam for each different symbol in play. So up to an extra 4. This pool is a disaster. Neat. Alright, awesome. So we got a new side steam here. So these, you play like regular side steams, have all the extra effects, but it says live dangerously. Each identity gets +2 hand size, but now you have each symbol. Nothing can cause me pain, not even an oncoming chirp. He's gonna get hit by the train in his background. That's funny. Yeah, so dropping this right here is gonna trigger all these other cards' effects, but it's also gonna make your game really difficult. We have self-confidence. Resource, max 1 per deck. Double the number of resources this card generates if your identity has sustained less than 5 damage. Triple the resources if you have sustained no damage. Ooh, that is fun. We have self-control. One protects double the number of resources. This card has generates if it has sustained less than 5 damage. Triple if you have no resources. And then we have self-preservation. Same thing, but one for each different type of energy or resource. Get good. Reduce the cost to play get good by 2 if you did not win your previous game of Marble Champions. So there's like a fourth wall breaking one right there. Hero Interrupt, or Force Interrupt. When a player would be defeated, they set their hit point value to 1, remove their alter ego. Change alter ego and form instead, remove this from the game. Cool, so now it gives his ability to anybody else for a turn. We have 3 copies of Healing Factor, Superpower, max 1 per player. Response, after the player phase begins, exhaust Healing Factor, heal 2 damage from your identity. Now I'm the best at whatever it is Wolverine does. And then our last one is, instead of tenacity, stick to itiveness. 2 cost upgrade condition. Action, spend a fist resource to exhaust this card. Ready your hero. As a questions, I don't know the meaning of the word. Yeah, a little bit more expensive, but you get to do it. So yeah, so overall, this is definitely, again, there's lots of goofy-ish kind of things. You can see where he's kind of like, hey, he's hurting you to make his cards better. But it's a fun, different take on the deck. I don't think breaks any of the rules. It doesn't make you go way outside the box. It's not, like, the only 2 cards in there that really had anything outside of the game or changed overall was whether you won or lost your last game, or pulling a card from outside your collection, and that's it. And both of those aren't even terrible. It's, a yes or no if you won your game or not, or lie, whatever you feel like doing. Or your collection ones, again, just have some cards set aside. Awesome. And I definitely saw other characters could use that as well, but not maybe as much as him. Then we have his obligation, the Merc with the mouth. Give to the Wade Wilson player. Exhaust each ally you control. Allies you control cannot ready. Other players cannot resolve player cards or abilities during your turn. Force response. After the player phase ends, if you have not talked this phase, discard this card. Was it something I said? So there, another outside gimmicky thing, just basically not letting you talk for a turn. That's actually even kind of an interesting little mechanic, because like not being able to interact with your team for an entire turn or not talk to them. They can't tell, yeah, can you defeat this guy, or like should I attack him, and you can't say anything because otherwise your turn's gonna be kind of a pain. Alright, so we have his nemesis, which is Butler. Very interesting. He has a lot of different characters to be his nemesis. You could have had Cable as his nemesis, definitely. 2 steam, 1 thwart, 3 health. Scientist. Force interrupt. When Butler steams, place that threat on involuntary procedures if able. Boost, you're confused. So involuntary procedures. Butler seeks to cure his sister's cancer using Deadpool's regenerative abilities. Force response. After Deadpool takes any amount of damage, place 1 threat here. And if there is 10 or more threat here, remove this card from the game. Interesting. So just take damage to get rid of it. That's a neat way to get rid of a side steam. Taboo Rasa 16. Tax your identity. Treat your identity's printed text as if they were blank except for traits. Alter ego action, spend 2 genius resources to discard this. Boost, attach it to your identity. Butler uses the drug to erase Deadpool's memory of Butler's medical experiments. Alright, then we have 2 copies of Mutated Soldier, which is a minion. 1 steam, 2 attack with 5 health. Mutate and Soldier. Toughness. Force response. After Mutated Soldier activates, heal all damage from it. Oh boy, so you have to take him down in 1 shot. Butler funded research by developing super soldiers for foreign governments. Interesting. Alright, so then we had to think if you included the pool aspect, you had to include the Crisis of Infinite Deadpool's card, which brings the Dreadpool set into play. When revealed, reveal the set-aside Dreadpool minion and Dreadpool Deed side steam. Shuffle all the rest of the set-aside Dreadpool Encounter set into the Encounter deck. Remove this card from the game. So there's Dreadpool. Minion 2/2 with 3 health. Assassin and Elite. Dreadpool engages the first player. When defeated, deal Dreadpool to the player who defeated him as a face-down counter card. What do I do? What I do for the cause, but I still feel bad about it, usually. Interesting. Alright, then we have a side steam here. We have Dreadful Deeds. Dreadpool believes the only way to end his suffering is to kill every being in all the multiverse. When revealed, place 2 threat here for each player who controls 1 or more pool pink cards. Interesting. Just to get more for every player that has one of his cards. Cool. Alright, then we have Anti-Regenerative Ray weapon. Attached to Dreadpool, otherwise attached to the villain. Has +1 attack down here. Force Interrupt. When a character attacks a non-villain character, treat the character's box as if it were blank, except trades until the end of the attack. Hero action, spend 1 of each resource to attach this card to your identity. Interesting. When an attached character attacks a non-villain, so basically you can do that and you can get a +1 from your attack. Cool. We have 2 copies of Poolized. There's Angel and X23. Treat attached ally as a pool minion with a blank text box. Attached minion steam. Attached minion steam is equal to its prickly thwart. It does not take consequential damage. When revealed, attached to the ally at the highest cost without poolized attached to it. Otherwise, it gains surge. And then the final one in this encounter is Megacidal Tendencies. When revealed, deal 2 damage to each Deadpool corpse character, 3 instead if Deadpool is in play. If no damage is dealt this way, place 1 acceleration token on the main steam. Awesome. So you got a bunch of cool cards. That's really neat. Alright, then we have Stop. Cards play here before this provider composed the greatest deck ever conceived. There's no deck list. There's a deck list on the reverse side for your reverence. As if you could improve on my deck. Alright, so we're going to look at his deck list again quick. Deadpool's greatest hits is Bestie, Chimichanga, Trup Nom Nom, Get Good, aka Get Gouda, Butler, I hate this guy, Dreadpool's a loser, and My Crew. That's funny. Alright, then we have a bunch of extra cards. So usually, the extra cards come from different aspects, or they're a different encounter deck you can add to the game. What they did for Deadpool is instead they gave us a bunch of extra pool cards, which is really fun because otherwise, if they didn't, I doubt there would ever be a way to customize this deck any more than what you can currently do. Yeah, so let's let you swap out some. So you can swap out for Bob, Agent of Hydra, who is Bob Goblina, who is a Hydra trait or keyword. Response: after Bob Agent of Hydra enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy or remove 1 threat from a steam. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, like a right head on there. Ellie Finster. Psionic and X-Force. Interrupt: when a treachery is revealed, deal 2 damage to Negasonic Teenage Warhead. To cancel that treachery's when revealed effect. And then we have Panda Pool. Deadpool, of course, he just has toughness. It's 0 sport, but 3 attack. What's black and white and red all over? We have break time. 3 per player cost, which has a line so everyone can help pay for it. Alter ego action. Take a group break, leave the table, read a comic book. When you come back to the game, heal 1 damage from each identity for every minute you were away from the game. So again, a little bit of a rule-breaking card. So again, it's whether you actually want to follow this or if you want to have some arbitrary, like roll a die, D20 up to 20 health. Who knows? However you like to do it. Get behind me. Get in front of me. Hero Incorrupt. When a treachery card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its when reveal effect, the ability attacks you instead. If an ally or another hero defends this attack, draw 1 card. We have 3 copies of Mulligan. If you cannot play this card, if you have played another card, display its action. Discard your hand, draw a new hand, drop to your hand size. This hand could be so much better. The Deadpool core ship. This is a vehicle. Exhaust Deadpool core ship and deal yourself 1 face down counter. Put a pool ally from your play into your hand. Oh, cool. So if their symbol maybe is hurting you too much or they're dying, you could pull them back. This spaceship serves as Deadpool Core's mobile base of operations. Plot convenience. Fighting a vampire there. Exhaust plot convenience. Choose. Attach 1 aspect card from your hand face down here to a maximum of 3. Add 1 attached face down card here to your hand, or any player may trigger this ability. That's kind of cool. So you can basically have a card sitting around to use whenever you need it for later, without wasting your hand. 3 copies of Ambush. Tactic attached to the side steam. +1. Max 1 per side steam. Interrupt. When an attached side steam is defeated, discard a non-elite minion. Yes, but it also makes you have to, as a crisis, so you have to deal with that first. 2 copies of Bazooka. An upgrade weapon. Restricted max 2 per deck. Hero action attack. Discard Bazooka, deal 1 damage to an enemy for each symbol in play. This attack gains ranged. Blackout. Mega Game. Alright, it's interesting. We have Mega Game on here. Hero action, spend 1 resource of any type. Move 1 threat from the steam to an empty space above that matches a spent resource. If all spaces are filled, discard this card and confuse the villain. Interesting. So, spend a resource of any type to remove 1 threat from the steam. That card's defeated. Confuse the villain. Interesting. Cool. So we have 3 copies of Distraction, 0 cost upgrade. Attached to a non-elite minion, max 1 per minion. Attached minion cannot activate. But you do have to deal with them right away. Laser Swords, 3 cost upgrade. Weapon counts as 2 restricted cards, max 1 per deck. You're just +1 attack for each symbol in play. Its max until reach a max attack of 4. Whoosh, whoosh. Alright, we have some other interesting cards there. We have another meta game. We have Rock, Paper, Scissors. Action, exhaust this card, choose 1 card in your hand and discard the top card of your deck. Use the diagram above. If a printed resource on the chosen card points to a printed resource card on the discard card, add the discard card to your hand. Cool. We have Tic-Tac-Toe, which is another metagame card. Spend 1 resource of any type, move 1 damage from the character to an empty space above the matching spent resource. If there are 3 damage tokens in a line, deal all damage on this card to an enemy and discard this card. And our final one is War. Juggernaut sitting there. Hero action, Exhaust War. Discard the top card of the encounter deck, take 1 damage for each boost or amplify in the boost area of that card. Discard the top card of your deck, deal damage to an enemy equal to the card's cost. Which is some good high cost cards. Alright, so that's kind of cool. Even the neat to add some of them extra characters, different allies, you can swap out some other different stuff. I wish there was more side steams. Yeah, I think he only has 1 or 2. Wish he had a couple more. The metagame cards are kind of interesting because you play them, you have to interact with them differently. But again, there's a lot of gimmicky stuff in here where he's kind of goofing around or playing stuff, but lots of it is pretty straightforward. So this is actually a really fun deck, in my opinion. Yes, having to deal with extra icons all the time is going to make him very tricky to play as. I would recommend him as being like an expert deck. But again, you can go through and you don't even have to play with pool. You can add in the aggression or leadership aspects and get a bunch of other different cards. And then not too many of his regular cards. Actually, none of his cards added any of the mech acceleration tokens, but none of them added that extra just bonus for being out there. So if those are too hard, just don't play with the pool cards. Now, I do wonder if sometime in the future they'll ever release more pool cards so you can actually upgrade this deck again in some other way. Because, yeah, there was a bunch of different ones, which is nice. But, like, it's like the equivalent of almost a second deck. Which is what I'm guessing it's kind of the idea. Is you might not just use them as other cards to switch out, but maybe you can just switch to that side of the deck as well. Kind of interesting. But that's what we have for Deadpool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely check out the other Marvel Champion sets. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, hit me up in the comment section. See you guys later. Bye.